Today we're going to talk about the death of Socrates. I think this is one of the most important philosophical ideas ever, and I think it's foundational to any understanding of philosophy. So let's get that started. The reason I'm making this video is because YouTube's offering this new feature. I think it's called Courses. I don't know if it's out yet. I don't know if it's in beta yet. I don't know. But this is going to be part of that series, and the series is going to be important ideas in philosophy, me exploring different ideas. So if you like this idea, stick around for the rest of the series, stick around for the rest of the course, whatever you want to call it. But now we get into it. So the death of Socrates is perhaps something that is cited the most out of anything I've seen, when it comes to reading philosophy. It's something that you'll see repeated, and it's an idea that I think is really foundational to a lot of Western beliefs, a lot of Western ideas. And more or less what it comes down to is the need to ask questions, the need to be able to represent yourself in the world authentically without being restricted, without being told what you can and can't do. And it's really the ultimate source of freedom. And the death of Socrates, put very simply, is Socrates got the youth of Athens to question things and got them to ask the why, and they were asking questions that they weren't allowed to be asking, such as, why are we going to this war? Why do we do these things? Why are we giving up our youth for the sake of old rich people that really don't care about us at all? And it's like it's those questions and those answers that were getting them to not blindly follow, not blindly have faith in institutions. And because of this, it made Socrates very dangerous. They trumped up charges. More or less, they had him, painted as a person that believed in false gods, a person that, disturbed the youth and was dangerous and all sorts of these things. And, throughout his trial, he's kind of trying to defend himself, and he's kind of trying to, show the people that they're being quite ironic in persecuting him while doing the same thing. But the most interesting facet of this comes when Socrates is saying why he's considered the wisest man in the world. And, the Oracle of Delphi more or less says that he's the smartest man. It angers quite a few people, and Socrates himself goes to try to disprove this. And in his effort to try to disprove this, he goes to the playwrights, he goes to the other philosophers, he goes to the respected, advisors to the kings and stuff like that. And more or less what he parses is that he discovered that he was the smartest because he knew what he didn't know. And what this means is that he was willing to question things. He was willing to challenge his preconceived notions of things. He was willing to hear people out and see their perspective. And through that, you are able to gain a more well-rounded experience. You're able to approach situations with not so much of a rigid belief system that allows you to come up with a better solution, allows you to come up with a creative solution, allows you to in some way approach problems in the most realistic and most logical way. Because when you stop thinking, you stop being able to question things. You stop being able to in some way see a better way, because you have that rigid belief system. You are not able to break free from that mold. And that really is one of the more interesting things that Socrates ever said. And again, all of this comes from Plato. I forgot to preface that. Everything that we know about Socrates more or less comes from Plato. His, I guess you would say, top student. You can argue it was either Aristotle or Plato, but these come from Plato's dialogues. And the story I'm talking about right now, and in particular, is Plato's Apology, if you want to read it for yourself. But in the end, Socrates is basically convicted. He is given the sentence of either exile or to drink poison. And Socrates chooses to drink poison because what is a life where you can't express yourself? What is a life where you can't speak the things that you want to speak and do the things you want to do? And if he had accepted his exile, he would be forced to not teach. He'd be forced to not think. And Socrates would rather die than live in a world that he could not speak or think. And to me, that's one of the most inspiring ideas, and I think it really shows a level of fortitude that I wish more people today had. I wish more people understood what actually thinking for yourself is, instead of blindly following things, instead of looking and seeing things objectively, thinking about them and thinking for yourself versus just accepting things. And it really brings on a key element of humanity that I think is being lost today, that I think is being written out of us through the news, through media, through things like that, and really just taking our attention away from ourselves. So that said, this is the first video in a series that I don't know how long it's going to go. I'm probably going to do at least 10 videos, probably maybe 15, 20. I don't know. There's an endless sea of ideas that I can cover with this, but today we're just going to go over this one. Stay tuned for the rest of them. If you guys enjoyed what I said, if you enjoyed the channel, you're going to enjoy my book as well. I just released it last week. I think you guys are going to have a lot of fun reading it. A lot of interesting ideas. I think I talk about Socrates at some point in it as well. Yeah, love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much. Peace out. I'll catch you in the next one.